Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to 2024. I can't believe how much time has passed since I have started my channel. If you hear a bell or scuffling or stomping, that is my pets. I am in my living room right now and they live here too, so you might get to hear them as I talk through this video. I thought that in today's video we could discuss a few of my reading goals, a few of my reading plans, and possibly what sort of content that I will be making on this channel this year. Now, I don't typically make videos and plans this early. As you know, I don't really do TBRs, I don't really do wrap-ups because I don't like setting myself up for what could potentially be seen as failure. I don't see me as not reading a book in a certain month as a failure, but I don't want that to reflect on my channel. I don't want to promise a whole bunch of things and then not meet those promises. I just would rather mood read than plan every single book that I'm reading and make a TBR video every month for that. So I thought this video would make a very good vague substitute so I can look back on it when the year is over and see if I met any of these goals or read any of these books. So first things first, I plan to read 100 books this year. Now this has come from my natural progression as the years have gone on. I started my Goodreads in 2016 where I only read a couple of books, and now I have since warmed my way up to reading 82 books last year, so I can comfortably say that I think I will be able to finish 100 books this year. I think that I will be capable of doing that because I am reading more comics this year, I'm listening to audiobooks, and I'm reading books that are varied, non-fiction, shorter books, so hopefully I can make it to 100 books. My next goal, and my pretty much guaranteed goal, is to read more comic books. I have already read comic books this month. I plan to read more this month, so this is basically a guaranteed goal for me. I am really enjoying reading Batman comics, but who knows if I may branch out into other comics. I've also been reading a little bit of manga in the past year, so hopefully I can find more manga that interests me. A lot of them are just too long, too complicated, or a little bit boring. Sometimes I just can't get into them, but hopefully I will try reading more comics and maybe more manga this year. We will see how the year goes. Another goal of mine is that I want to try to read more nonfiction this year. I always set that as a goal for myself every year because while I was in university, I was obviously reading more academic books, and that was a lot of nonfiction books and a lot of books that I really enjoyed. Now, I stopped reading more nonfiction because I kind of got burnt out from university, but now that I'm graduated and clean out, I would like to start looking for better nonfiction books this year. Lately, the nonfiction that I've been reading has been celebrity memoirs, and those were interesting for a while, so maybe I can pick up more of those. I know that Paris Hilton and Britney Spears have both released memoirs, so I am looking forward to getting into those. I also have Jennette McCurdy's book, so I would like to read that as well. And I'd also like to look into more like pop culture stuff, and perhaps more historical events. I want to get back into reading nonfiction historical books. So that is another short goal for this year. Hopefully at least one will be read. The next goal is one that is pretty obvious if you have been watching my channel for a while, and that is to read 12 more books off of the 100 Epic Reads of a Lifetime poster that I received in 2020. So far, I have 31 books left off of the poster because I'm currently reading one this month, and that is going to take 2 years apparently. So hopefully adding 12 more to the pile this year will guarantee that I'll finish it pretty soon. Who knows if I will start to double up once I reach the 24 mark. Maybe I'll do 2 a month. Maybe I will do one set reading vlog where I simply finish it. I am not trying to do that this year. I will not scramble to finish the poster this year. I think that would kill me, because the only books left on this poster are the giant Russian ones and all the boring ones, because I've been trying to read the ones that I would want to read. That's my goal this year, is to read 12. Next year, who knows what I will do. And finally, one of my reading goals is kind of the opposite of a goal. It's what I don't plan to read this year. I think that I have officially given up on most YA. I'm 27 years old. I can't relate to that anymore. No judgment to anyone who does read them. Totally cool. I just can't keep trying anymore, because when I try, I don't enjoy them. There hasn't been a YA book that has captured me in a very, very long time. A lot of them are great and wonderful and fine and 3 stars, but maybe I want more than 3 stars, you know? And I don't think a YA book will ever be more than 3 stars for me anymore. So unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to give up trying out YA unless there's one that really speaks to me. I believe my only exception will be however they market the Greek myth retellings. A lot of them are considered YA, even though I believe they could just be considered general literary fiction. It doesn't matter what age the characters are, because in Greek myth, right, age is kind of nebulous. So yeah, I believe normal, set, paranormal YA or any other form of YA, I think I'm finally going to be putting that aside now. Alright, now let's get into some of the books that I plan to read this year. As I've already said before, I would like to try reading Britney Spears' book, Paris Hilton's book, and Jeanette McCurdy's book. I believe those are the celebrity memoirs that I'm interested in this year. I have a few ebooks and audiobooks saved on my apps. I don't have that app open right now. I'm using my phone to record, so I will try off the top of my head to remember some of those. As for audiobooks, I have a lot of my poster books, but I also have the books in the Sookie Stackhouse series, which I still plan to continue. I believe I have one more book from the Crave series, so I will finish that because I am a completionist. I have Ashley Winstead's new book on audiobook. I believe that's called Midnight is the Darkest Hour. And I have plenty of other audiobooks. Now, as for ebooks, I have a dark academia short story collection called In These Hallowed Halls. I have a few vampire stories, and once again, I have more of my 100 Epic Reads of a Lifetime books. A lot of those are saved. I also have a few Greek myth retellings. There's one about Argos, there's one about Clytemnestra, and there is one more, and I'm not remembering it at the moment, so maybe it'll be right here. Now let's get into my physical TBR, which is obviously the most fun part of this video because you get to see different visuals. So let's get started on that. So the first book is The Little Mermaid and Other Short Stories by Hans Christian Andersen. This is an interactive book. So there's a lot going on. There's pop-ups, there's things to move, there's pretty pictures, and I'm very, very excited to get into this. I want to take an entire day to read this slowly and really appreciate the art, and I'll definitely show a lot of my favorite parts of this book. I'm very excited to read this because not only have I wanted to read the original Little Mermaid tale, I've also wanted to read The Ugly Duckling, which is a story that really resonates with me, so I'm very excited for that. My other books include Tess of the Duberville by Thomas Hardy, because I loved Far from the Mating Crowd so much that I decided to pick up his most famous work. I also have The Wolf Gift by Anne Rice, which is her werewolf books, and no one talks about them because I don't think they're that great. I think she wrote 2 of them, so oh boy. Next, I have Pandora by Susan Stokes Chapman. This is actually an ARC that I found in a neighborhood library. Very exciting stuff. Very pretty cover. I then have In Search of Frankenstein by Radu Florescu, which is the other book that this guy wrote, theorizing stuff about popular Victorian literature. He already did In Search of Dracula, where he believed he has found Dracula's castle that inspired the novel. Pretty cool stuff if it is all outdated sort of knowledge. Next, I have The Drowning Tree by Carol Goodman. I enjoyed her other book, The Lake of Dead Languages, and so I thought I would pick up another one of her stories. I haven't heard anything about this, but I liked her writing style previously, and this is once again about a teacher at a school, so I'm very, very excited to read more of her work. Next I have Valley of the Dolls by Jacqueline Susann, a really, really pretty edition with nice pink edges. This is a very famous story from the 1960s about 3 women and their trials and tribulations in, I believe, New York City or Hollywood or something. Whole bunch of stuff going on. There was a very infamous movie and sequel, and it was all very campy, but I'm looking forward to the melodrama of the 1960s and how it treated its women. Next, I plan to read The Trials of Oscar Wilde by H. Montgomery Hyde. This is actually an academic book. I live in a university town, and I see a lot of these at the thrift store when they can't sell their books back to the bookstore. And this is a historical account of the trial that Oscar Wilde had in the year 1895 for being homosexual. So this is very interesting to me. It looks like it has a lot about the trial, what was said in the trial, and the consequences of the trial. So very, very interesting stuff to show the brutal homophobia in the 1890s in England. Up next, I have the Memoirs of Elizabeth Frankenstein by Theodore Roszak. I found this at the thrift store. And one of my favorite books is The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein by Kiersten White. And here is an older looking book about the same character from a man's point of view. Let's see what this could be in comparison to the other novel. And finally, on my physical TBR this year, and my most anticipated read is, of course, Rouge by Mona Awad, her newest novel. Very exciting stuff. I really enjoyed Bunny, and I really enjoyed All's Well, so hopefully she will be 3 for 3 for me. Now, as for comics on my TBR, I am a little bit vague on what I will be doing, but I plan to read Batgirl Year 1 and Nightwing Year 1 after I have already read Robin Year 1. I will also try to read The Court of Owls because that was the most requested one in the comments of my Batman vlog. And this year, hoping, I plan to read basically all of Jason Todd's run prior to his death, which thankfully isn't much. So I also want to read other more current Batman runs. I'm not sure what they're called, unfortunately, but I'm trying to read the run that has Ghostmaker in it because my sibling recommended that run to me. So I'm pretty excited to be continuing reading Batman comics. I just love Batman so much now, and I'm excited to get more into the comics themselves. Now, this part is mostly miscellaneous because I don't just do reading on my channel. I also share a lot of my collections, so I will be talking about that now. I've really gotten into thrifting and looking at vintage items for my collection. So far, I collect basically any critter that has a vampire costume on. So I've been having a lot of people giving me like cute stuffed animals or cute little figures from different shows and media that just have them in a costume for a vampire. So I'm looking forward to collecting more of those. I've also started collecting Batman figures. I've started collecting a little bit of Scooby-Doo media that excites me. I'm obviously still into collecting Rugrats, and my collection has grown greatly since that video that I posted. I've gotten so many nice things, and I would love to show those off. Also, funnily enough, for some reason in my town, people don't appreciate the value of items from the Twilight Saga, so I've thrifted like countless like really pricey Twilight items for a bargain, like for dirt cheap. So of course I'm going to be looking for more things to put on my Twilight shelf, like duh. Thought I'd do a little brief interlude to show you the Twilight shelf. Aside from the original saga, all of these items were thrifted. He was $8.50. She was $3. These guys were $2, and these journals were $12. And I just recently got the friggin' steelbacks of Twilight and New Moon for $2 each. What is people's problem? I have a gold mine of treasures here for dirt cheap. And finally, I am still trying to complete my hardcover collection of the Anne Rice Vampire Chronicles novels. I only have 3 left to get. I have to get the Vampire Lestat, which is really hard to get because people don't donate that book because it's their favorite book. Memnoch the Devil, which I'm shocked I haven't found the hardcover for because it's not that great of a book. And finally, Prince Lestat, which I'm also shocked about because that book only came out 10 years ago. 10 years ago, Jesus. It only came out 10 years ago, so I should be able to friggin' find the hardcover. And as for other media, season 2 of AMC's Interview with the Vampire will be coming out this year, and hopefully it'll be later in the year, so you don't see how feral I am the entire time, because season 1 made me into a very feral beast, and so season 2 is gonna be worse, because Armand is here now. We're all going to suffer and not make it. It's gonna be a fire. It's gonna be a storm, and I'm looking forward to it so much. There are also a couple Batman cartoons that I want to try out. I want to continue Teen Titans. I want to try The Batman, that cartoon that came out, and I would like to try Batman the Brave and the Bold because that just seems like a silly, ridiculous cartoon. And I just got the DVD of Scooby-Doo meets Batman the Brave and the Bold, and I'm looking forward to watching that as well. It's so funny how much Scooby-Doo and Batman will like connect. I really enjoy it. Alright, so those are all of my reading goals and channel goals for this year. Hopefully this video makes it to 10 minutes or something. That would be nice. It's just a nice short little update and a plan for the year 2024. Hopefully this year will bring lots of joy, comfort, peace, fun, and a lot of new things to add to my collection, and a lot of new books to add to my favorites. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.